Hey, great afternoon, everybody. Great afternoon. Come on in the room. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Welcome to Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead, and it's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to join you right here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. for a little push, a little encouragement, a little empowerment. Yes, we've missed a couple of Tuesdays. Life just had a way of shifting some things, but we are here. So as you coming in the room, say hello. As you're coming in the room, say hello. In case you have not already, hey Latanya, how are you? Happy Tuesday. If you have not already saw, our topic for today is, do you have your PPE for 2025? Come on in the room. Make sure you like and share. We got something to talk about today. And I know you're probably saying, Dr. Vaughn, what do you mean PPE? All of us know, hey Niche, all of us know about PPE. I put it in the post. Most of us know about PPE. It protects us. It is what keeps you from hazardness. It keeps you from infection. It keeps you protected. And many of us need to understand that we're always looking for the PPE that protects the external. My question is, do you got your PPE for the spirit? My question is, as we lean into 2025, as we prepare for 2025, do you have your PPE for 2025? And I already broke it down to you, but we're going to dig deep into it today. Why? Because we can't keep saying we're ready for the new. We can't keep saying we're ready for the next. We can't keep saying we're ready for God to do it, but we're not actually protecting ourselves against the wiles of the devil. We're not protecting ourselves against toxicity and calamity. We're not protecting ourselves against the wrong attachments. We're not protecting ourselves from things that will pollute our very vision and our very zeal. And so here it is. Tell somebody, put in the comment section, I'm protected. Come on. Hey, Felicia, how are you? Hey, Nene. Listen, put in the comment section, I am protected. I am protected. I'm going to prove to you. I want you to already say it already, even if you don't think you are protected. Say, I am protected. I am protected. I know where we have PPE for COVID. We got PPE for the flu. We got PPE for contagious disease. Hey, Arlene, we got PPE for all of these things. But I want us to dig deep for PPE for the spirit. Come on, put it in the comment section. I am protected. That's right, Latanya. I am protected. And I know you're probably saying, Dr. Vaughn, what do you mean? Here's the three things. I am protected by power and prayer. Here's my P. I'm protected by power and prayer. My second P, I'm protected by perseverance in prayer. Perseverance to seek him. I'm protected by perseverance to seek him. And then I'm protected by my expectancy of the promise. And I know you're probably saying, Dr. Vaughn, you don't understand. I'm going through some stuff. You're absolutely right. We all going through something. But let's dig deep into this. When we're talking about our power in prayer, this is all about posture. My question to you is, are you praying? Hey, Marnay. Hey, Arlene, are you praying like you should? Power in prayer is all about posture. Power in prayer is not about having fancy words. Power in prayer is not about having church lingo. Power in prayer is not about having theatrics. Power in prayer is not about, who approves of your prayer. Power in prayer is all about your posture. Are you in a place of submission and humility to your Father? Come on here. Are you in a posture of submission and humility to your Father? What do you mean, Dr. Vaughn? Some of us have not submitted to his will yet. Oh, God, it's going to get heavy. Some of us have not submitted to his will yet. We're doing half of his will, or we're doing the part we want to do. We're doing the part that we like. We're doing the part that's comfortable, but we're not really fully submitted to his will, because some of us would rather do our will than his will. Why? Because our will appeases our flesh. Our will pleases our desires. Our will pleases our sight. Our will appeases what we want to see. Our will appeases being popular. Our will appeases being liked and being accepted. But sometimes the will of God makes you go against the status quo. Sometimes the will of God will make you isolated. Sometimes the will of God will make you be the trendsetter. Sometimes the will of God will make you be the blueprint. Sometimes the will of God will make you make you purge some of the things in you that you want to keep. I can't hear nobody. Sometimes the will of God will make you examine yourself and tell you that you got to get rid of some things. The will of God. See, some of us don't really want to submit to his will. That's why we don't have power in prayer. We don't really want to commune with the Father because he may say something we don't like. Oh, I can't hear nobody. We don't want to commune with the Father because he may tell us what we want ain't his will. We don't want to commune with the Father because he may tell us what you desire I didn't accept. We don't want to commune with the Father because he may give us instructions that we don't want to do. We don't want to commune with the Father because he may tell us to do something and we don't want to do it for that person. I can't hear nobody. But here it is. Our power in prayer has to do with our posture. Come here, Elijah. Elijah, when he was praying to God, got down low. He stuck his head in between his legs and he bowed down in a posture of reverence and submission. When is the last time that you submitted to God? Not going to God with your laundry list, not going to God because you and with your arrogance because you think you got power with God. When is the last time you went to God in the posture of humility and submission? When is the last time that you went to God in the posture of humility and reverence? Tell somebody I got to get down. Sometimes the way up is down. Oh, I can't hear nobody. Sometimes the way up is down. And many of us, we always want to be seen, but sometimes we got to stay down low. While God is doing certain things in our lives, some of us have to realize we can't be up high because he takes us down low to develop us. He takes us down low to mature us. He takes us down low to heal us. He takes us down low to shape and mold us. He takes us down low to purify us. He takes us down low to sift us. Tell somebody, I don't mind being low. I don't mind being low. I don't mind being low because I understand that God has to take me low sometime to be able to prepare me for the elevated altitude. Because if I can't handle the low altitude, I'll die at the high altitude. I can't hear nobody. If I can't handle the low altitude, then I'll die at the high altitude. And so some of us need to understand our first P, you got to have power in prayer. What is your posture with the Father? Some of you only want to pray when you're seen. But does the Father know your voice? Does the Father know your name? Does the Father know who you are? You have to have you got to ignite your power in prayer. How do I do this, Dr. Vaughn? That means I got to pray to him. That means I got to be consistent in prayer. I can't just be only praying to him when I'm in trouble. I can't just be praying to him when I need a miracle. I can't just be praying to him when I want him to do something. I got to have consistency in prayer. That's where that's where my power is developed. Here's the second P. I got to have persistence in my seek. I got to have persistence in my seek. How many of you get discouraged quickly when you pray for something he don't answer? Come on, think about it. How many of you get discouraged quickly when you pray for something and the Lord don't answer quickly? You'll pray to him, and if he don't answer, you pray on today is Tuesday, and you don't pray. He don't answer by Friday. How many of y'all get discouraged? How many of y'all been praying for stuff for a couple of months and he ain't did it, and now you're discouraged? This second P is about persistence in my seek. I can't give up because God don't answer me when I want him to answer me. Come here, Elijah. Elijah in 1 Kings 18 begins to talk about how he hears the abundance of rain. Flow with me for a second. He hears the abundance of rain. But he tells his servant to go look. I say it again. He hears the abundance of rain. He don't see it. He hears the abundance of rain and tells his servant to go look. The servant goes to look on the first time, sees nothing. Second time, sees nothing. But Elijah sends him back the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time. Elijah kept sending him back because Elijah knew what he heard. Somebody gonna catch me in the Holy Ghost. Elijah kept sending him back to go look because he knew what he heard God say. He knew that he heard God say the abundance of rain. He knew that he heard the abundance of rain. The Lord allowed him to hear the abundance of rain. So he was persistent. he kept sending his servant to go look for what he heard. Somebody need to type in the comment section, I'm about to go look for what I heard. Come on here. Come on here. You got to declare it. Somebody got to say in the comment section, I'm about to go look for what I heard. Here it is. What would have happened if Elijah would have stopped sending the servant when the servant came back after the second time and said, I don't see the rain? What would have happened if Elijah would have said, when he came back the fourth time, I don't see no rain? No, Elijah stood on his faith. Come on here. Elijah stood on his faith. Come on here. Elijah stood on his faith and he kept sending the servant back because he knew what God said. I don't know about y'all. That thing been ringing on me. I'm about to see what I heard. Oh, that thing been ringing in me. That's right. That's right. Put it in the comment section. I'm about to see what I heard. I'm about to see what I heard. I'm trying to tell you, I'm about to see. Oh, come on here. Here it is. And the scripture goes on to say that when Elijah sent him back the seventh time, y'all, the servant actually, the servant actually begins to say, I see a cloud forming. It's only the size of a man's hand. So it's little, but it's evidence that what God said is manifesting. Somebody gonna catch me in the Holy Ghost. It's little, but it's evidence that God is manifesting what he said. The servant came back to Elijah the prophet and said, I see a cloud forming that's the size of a man's hand. Elijah immediately, because now he is seeing what he heard. Oh, somebody go catch me. Now he is seeing what he heard. And now Elijah tells the servant, you need to get up on your chariot real quick. You need to get up on your chariot real quick because the abundance of rain is coming and you need to get to Jezreel before there's a wipeout. You need to get to Jezreel before this rain stops transportation. What am I trying to say to somebody? You got to be so persistent in your seek of what God said that you don't allow your feelings to get in the way of what you're seeking. You don't allow your emotions to get in the way of what you're seeking. You don't allow disappointment to get in the way of what you're seeking. You don't allow what you're seeing to get in the way of what you heard. You got to be so persistent that even, glory to God, even when you don't see it, you keep saying it. Come on here. Even when you don't see it, you keep saying it. Elijah kept saying, I hear the abundance of rain. I don't care that you went back the first time and didn't see it. I don't care that you went the second time and didn't say it. That's not going to stop me from saying, I hear the abundance of rain. That's not going to stop me from saying I hear the abundance of rain, because here's the thing. Our sight will get us in trouble and it will cloud our hearing. Somebody go hear that. Our sight will get us in trouble and it will cloud our hearing. So here it is. Let's go for the first P. If I have power in prayer through my posture, if I have activated my power in prayer through my posture of humility and submission to the full will of God, not half of the will of God, but the full will of God, then I have enough strength to be persistent even when what I see don't match up to what I heard. Come on. Even when what I see don't match up to what I heard, because I already got power in my posture in prayer, now I can be persistent in my seek of what I heard in prayer. Okay, I'll say it again. Because I've activated my power through my posture in prayer, now I have developed enough strength for my perseverance in my seek of what I heard in prayer. Come on here. And because I am persistent, that means I'm not allowing the circumstances of the world to dictate what I heard. I'm not allowing me to become the actual hindrance from what I heard. I'm not allowing the situation to now hinder what I heard. Some of you have allowed the situation to be cotton balls that you can no longer hear what you heard. You've allowed your sight to now become your hearing. Oh, I can't hear nobody. I said, you have now allowed your sight to become your hearing. Our sight was never supposed to be what we heard. Your ears are where you hear. Your sight is where you see. But you're allowing what you see to dictate what you hear. Come on here. But tell somebody you got to act. Oh, you got to elevate your hearing. You got to elevate your hearing. Well, how do I elevate my hearing, Dr. Vaughn? I elevate my hearing when I'm in the right posture and I'm in the right mode to be actually seeking him. I don't hear unless I'm seeking. Because here's the thing. Oh, God. Because what I hear has to now become a part of my being. So sometimes what I hear, I now have to regurgitate what I hear, even if it contradicts what I see. Oh, come on here. I have to regurgitate what I hear God saying to me, even if it contradicts what I'm seeing. That's right, Janae. I got to elevate my hearing. Because here's the thing. Well, how do I elevate it, Dr. Vaughn? I have to get down low. We going back to posture. I have to get down low to a place of submission and humility and reverence to God so that I can hear him. I can't hear him when I'm all the way up here. I can't hear him when I'm all clouded by the calamities of the world. I cannot hear him when all the toxicity is around my thoughts. I can't hear him when all the situations is clouding my mind. I can't hear him. Sometime I got to come down low. I got to bow myself. Come here, Elijah. Elijah stuck his head in between his knees and bowed in reverence and submission. And he stayed there until he heard what God said. When he got set up, he automatically told the servant, now I want you to go look for what I heard. Why? Because I'm so confident that I'm in the right posture with God. I'm so confident in my power in prayer that I know what I heard God say. Come on, somebody need to type in the comment section. I know what I heard God said. I got so much power in prayer because of my consistency. Come on here. I got so much power in prayer because I live there. I have so much power in prayer because I'm not a visitor. I dwell there. I got so much power in prayer because it's my lifeline. I got so much power in prayer because that's where I'm fulfilled. That's where I'm strengthened. That's where I'm empowered. It's in my time of prayer. That's why I said you got to have power in prayer. Your posture in prayer is where you get your power. Come on here. I know y'all thought y'all experience. I know you thought your degrees. I thought you thought your connections was going to be your power. But your power in prayer is going to come from your posture in prayer. That's right, Janae. I know what I heard God say. Here's the thing. So once you have we're talking about PPE for 2025. Once you have your power in prayer through your posture of humility and submission, once you have developed your persistence in your seek of what you heard God say, then you can now activate your expectation, your expectancy. Now you can elevate your expectancy of what God said. Now you can elevate your expectancy of what God said. Here it is. Every time Elijah instructs the servant to go, he tell him, go look. Without hesitation, he says, "Go look." Without any doubt or anything, he tells him, "Go look." With so much confidence and boldness, Elijah says, "Go look." Why was Elijah telling him to go look? Because Elijah expected him to come back and say he saw it. Oh God, he expected him to come back and say that he saw it. But his expectancy didn't change just because he didn't see it at first. Let me put a pin note here. Some of you, your expectancy is based off how fast God do it. Some of you, your expectancy is based off of how fast God do it. But here's the thing. You got to elevate your level of expectancy to the point where no matter how long it takes God to do it, I'm still expecting him to do it. No matter how long it takes God to do it, I'm still expecting him to do it. Come on here. So here it is. He tells him, he said, go. He kept telling him, go look again. I know what you said. I know you said it ain't there. I know you said it ain't no rain. I know you said the clouds is clear. But I'm telling you, go look again. I'm sure his servant got an attitude because he was like, now I looked the last time, wasn't there. Why am I going back? I know on the fourth and fifth time, every time he went back, the servant probably had an attitude because he was like, I just told you it ain't there. But Elijah had such a spirit of expectancy that he was going to keep going back until he saw what he heard. You got to get such a passion and zeal about what you heard. You don't let nobody tell you it can't happen. You don't let nobody tell you it won't be done. So why am I saying that you need this PPE for 2025? Some of y'all got some visions, assignments, calls, and responsibilities for 2025, and you need to be girded. You need to activate your power in prayer so that you can hear him. You need to elevate your persistence in your seek so that you can actually hear everything, all the steps that he said. And you got to activate your expectancy that no matter how long you got that attitude, he gonna do it. Come on, somebody type in the comment section. He gonna do it. Come on, type in the comment section. He gonna do it. Listen, I have such confidence and boldness in what God said. My expectancy is so high. You got to declare it. He gonna do it. Not he might. Come on here. He gonna do it. I'm not worried about whether or not you agree. But here's the problem. Let's be factual. The reason why some of us cannot embrace the promise, the reason why some of us cannot expect the promise to come, the reason why some of us cannot embrace what God is doing is because you stepped out of his will. You stepped out of his will. You've stepped out of his will. Some of us have gotten so consumed by worldly desires and by our own feelings and by our own what we want. Everything is about what we want. Some of us have gotten so consumed with, because we didn't get what we wanted, so seasoned, we're so focused on now I'm getting what I want. I'm doing what I want. I'm going where I want. I'm going to have what I want. And we've gotten so consumed because other seasons have been disappointing that we're missing the fact that you got to go down and you got to seek and you got to submit to the will of God. Because here's the thing. If God didn't sanction it, if God didn't agree with it, if God is telling you to go another way, you're still going to be at a roadblock until you do it his way. But he has to do what he promised for his name's sake. The problem, that the reason why it's delayed is because we ain't doing what we promised. The reason why the promise is delayed is because we're not doing what we promised. We promised to submit to his will, but we've been doing part of his will and not the other part. We've been promising to do it his way, but we've been doing some of it his way. Some of us have been acting like we praying, but we really ain't praying. We getting up in the morning telling God, thank you for another day, but we ain't praying saying, God, what is your will for my life? Because some of us, the truth be told, my Deanna not on here, but she has a podcast that says, truth be told, some of us don't really want to know the will of God for our lives because we would rather do what we want than do his will. We say we want his will, but if that will contradicts the desires of our heart, if that will contradicts the desires of our flesh, if that will contradicts what we like or what feels good, many of us don't want to submit to that will. But you can't straddle the fence. It's either you're going to submit to his will or you're not, because you can't have the blessings of submitting to his will, but choosing your own will. Come on here. You got to make a choice. Because here's the thing, when you go down low in a place of submission and humility and reverence and submit to the will of God, whatever that will may be, when you submit to that will, a level of power will ignite up inside of you. In that posture of prayer, you will get that level of power so that you can be persistent in your seek, persistent in seeking him, persistent in reading your word, persistent in God speaking to you. And then you'll be so fortified that no matter how long it takes, you're like, oh no, I know it didn't happen this month, but it's going to. I know y'all laughing at me, but it's going to happen. I know y'all didn't think it was, but it's going to happen. I know y'all don't believe like me, but I'm going to keep declaring it's going to happen until it happens. That's why I told you, type in the comment section, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Without a shadow of a doubt. He's going to do it for his namesake. But I got to do something. So I asked you the question. Do you have your PPE for 2025? Are you protected? Because when you got power in prayer and persistence in your seek and expectancy in the promise, you're so fortified, the devil can't get you. You're so fortified that he may hit you in the chest. He may make you gasp, but he won't make you stop breathing. I can't hear nobody. He may hit you in the chest and make you gasp, but he won't make you stop breathing. Why? Because you're so fortified. You're so protected. What is the goal of PPE? It's to keep you protected. What is the goal of PPE? To keep you protected against hazardous and infectious things. PPE is to keep you covered, keep you protected, keep a shield around you. That's what happens in prayer. That's what happens in your persistence of your seek of God. That's what happens when you have such a level of expectancy of the promise. You're fully covered. Somebody put in the comment section, I'm fully covered. I'm fully covered. Put in the comment section, I'm fully covered. Elijah kept sending him back. And y'all, the abundance of rain came. God was true to his word. But what would have happened if Elijah would have stopped looking? What would have happened if Elijah would have stopped seeking? What would have happened if he just would have said, you know what? I didn't see it the first time, so I'm not looking anymore. 7 times, y'all. 7 is number completion. 7 times he sent his servant back and said, go look again. Go look again. So what am I saying to some of you? Go look again. Activate your power in prayer. Be persistent in your seek of God. And go look again. But look with the expectancy that you're going to see. Look with the expectancy that you're going to see what you heard. Elijah didn't wait to see it before he believed it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things what? Not seen. I don't have to wait to see it to believe it's going to happen. I don't have to wait to see it to believe it's going to happen. I am just crazy enough to believe God going to do what he said. God going to do what he said. God going to do what he said. And so today, I ask you, do you have your PPE? Your power in prayer, your persistence in your seeking, your expectancy of the promise. Do you have your PPE for 2025? Don't be protected in the natural and be exposed in the spirit. Don't be protected in the natural and be exposed in the spirit. Don't be protected in the natural and be exposed in the spirit. It's time for us to get back to prayer like God said. But here's the thing. When you get submitted and back in the place of humility and submission in the posture of prayer, be prepared to hear what God said. Not always what you want. Be prepared to hear what God says. There's an abundance, a mighty shift. There's a mighty shift. And there's something mighty happening in 2025. The question is, will we be ready for it? That's the question. Will we be ready for it? It all starts with prayer. 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 So thank you all for joining me today for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. Again, if this is your first time, I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead. It's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to join you here every Tuesday. We missed a couple of Tuesdays just because of life and scheduling, but we are back here for these next today and the next 2 Tuesdays. We will be here as we prepare for the shift, as we prepare for where God is taking us, as we position ourselves. As we position ourselves, don't take for granted this last 2 weeks of the year. Be intentional. Be intentional in your prayer. Be intentional in your decisions. Be intentional in your desires. Be intentional in your seek. Be intentional in your time with God. Be intentional. Yeah, Latanya, it all starts with prayer. Be intentional. I'll see you back here next Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we shall share as the Lord prepares us for this new year to come.